What if your dog has been waiting their entire life for you to do one specific thing, and you've been doing the opposite every single day without even knowing it? Most owners believe they're doing everything right. But there are things your dog quietly needs from you that almost no one talks about, and the silence around them is costing you the bond you think you already have. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you're going to see your dog in a way you never have. Videos that help you understand what your dog is actually trying to tell you. Video today is one of the most important we've ever made. Here's what makes this so hard to hear. These aren't complicated things. They're not expensive. They're not time-consuming. But if you keep getting them wrong, and most owners do without a single clue, your dog starts to lose faith that you'll ever understand them. And a dog who's lost that faith doesn't show it with anger. They show it with distance, with a tail that wags a little less.
And closed resting space show lower cortisol levels, the hormone directly linked to chronic stress, compared to dogs without one. That's not a comfort preference. That's a biological need your dog is born with. Now look around your home. If your dog has no spot that is truly theirs, no crate with a blanket, no corner of a room they can retreat to without being followed or moved, then every stressful moment in your home is a storm your dog is weathering completely alone. They're not being dramatic when they hide. They're doing what every instinct in their body is screaming at them to do. A crate with the door left open, a dog bed tucked into a quiet corner, a blanket under a table that smells like them. That's all it takes. And when a dog has that space, a place that is genuinely, consistently theirs, something shifts. They stop disappearing into the walls of your home. They start choosing to be present, because presence requires safety, and safety requires a place to call their own. And if this one surprised you, stay with me, because the one coming up in just a moment is the reason so many dogs develop anxiety. Their owners never connect to anything they did wrong. 2. Stop touching them when they didn't ask. Be honest. When your dog is lying on the floor and you walk past, do you reach down and pet them? When they're sitting quietly and you sit beside them, do your hands automatically find their head?
Of course they do. You love your dog. But here is what that moment looks like from their side. Dogs have a concept researchers call personal space and autonomy, and it matters far more to them than most owners realize. Every time you initiate contact your dog didn't ask for, you're making a small deposit into something called learned helplessness. 1 or 2 moments, no big deal. But dozens of uninvited touches a day, week after week, teaches your dog that their body is not their own, that signals from them don't matter, that you will do what you want regardless of what they communicate. A study from the University of Bristol's School of Veterinary Sciences found that dogs who had more control over interactions with their owners showed significantly fewer signs of anxiety and displacement behaviors, and formed stronger social bonds than dogs in more handler-controlled interactions. The science is saying something most owners never want to hear. More isn't more. Patience is more. So what does a dog actually look like when they're asking? It's the chin resting on your knee. It's the nose pushing under your hand. It's the slow walk toward you that ends with them pressing their side against your leg. Those are invitations. Those are your dog choosing you. Everything else, every reach you initiate, is you making that choice for them. The hardest part of this isn't knowing it, it's doing it. Keeping your hands still when your dog walks past you, watching them lie down without immediately going to them. It feels like withholding love. But the moment you stop reaching and start waiting, something remarkable happens. Your dog starts coming to you more, not because you trained them to, but because you became the kind of person they feel safe moving toward. Keep watching, because what's coming up next is something almost every dog owner gets completely backwards, and it's quietly damaging the trust you've spent years trying to build. 3. Get on the floor with them. When did you last sit on the floor with your dog? Not to clean something up, not to put their collar on, not to examine a scratch on their paw, just to be there at their level with no agenda. Think about your dog's daily reality for a second. You are enormous. From a dog's perspective, you are a towering, fast-moving figure who controls food, doors, schedules, and attention. Research in canine cognition has consistently shown that dogs read body posture and physical size as signals of dominance and threat level, the same way their ancestors read signals from pack members and predators in the wild.
Every time you stand over them, even with the best intentions in the world, vary by an hour, play sessions that disappear for a few days, owners who come home at wildly different times each night. To you, that's just life. To your dog, the one thing in their world they could count on just became something they can't. The fix isn't becoming robotic. It's being consistent in the moments that matter most to them. Feed them around the same time each day. Have a play session they can anticipate. Even something as simple as sitting in the same chair every evening gives your dog a rhythm they can exhale into. Here is what most owners completely miss. They want a dog who is calmer, more affectionate, less reactive, but they never connect that to routine. A dog who doesn't know what's coming next is a dog whose nervous system is always partially activated, and a dog who's always partially activated doesn't have the capacity to fully connect with you, even when you're right there in the same room, even when you're doing everything else right. Routine is what takes the guard down.
And a dog whose guard is down is a dog who can finally love you with their whole heart. One more. And this last one is the one that hits hardest because you've had the chance to do it every single day and no one ever told you it mattered. 6. Talk to them. Out loud. For real. Do you talk to your dog? Loud. Not commands. Actually talk to them, the way you talk to someone you share your life with. Most people admit they do this when no one's watching, and then they feel slightly embarrassed about it. They shouldn't, because it turns out that instinct you've been quietly following is one of the most important things you can do for your dog. Here is something that gets overlooked in almost every conversation about dog behavior. Dogs have lived alongside humans for somewhere between 15,000 and 40,000 years, depending on who you ask. In that time, they didn't just learn to tolerate us, they evolved to read us, our faces, our gestures, our moods, and above all, our voices. No other domesticated animal has developed this capacity to the same degree. Not horses, not cats, not any animal on Earth. Your dog's brain has been shaped across thousands of generations specifically to respond to the human voice. Research published in the journal Animal Cognition found that dogs process speech using the same bilateral brain structure humans use, distinguishing both the meaning of words and the emotional tone they're delivered in. They're not just hearing sound, they're parsing communication. And a separate study from Ötvös University in Hungary found that dogs respond differently to speech directed at them versus speech directed at other people, even when the words are identical. They know when you're talking to them.
Your dog has been listening this whole time. The question is whether you've been speaking. You don't need to be eloquent. You don't need a script. Tell them good morning when you get up. Narrate what you're making for dinner. Talk to them in the car, on the walk, when you get home from a day that wore you out. Because every time you do, you're doing something that goes far deeper than communication. You're including them. You're treating them like what they actually are. Not a pet you manage, but a living being who has oriented their entire existence around you. And when a dog knows they're seen, really seen, not just fed and walked and managed, something opens up in them that no training class or expensive toy ever could. Most owners spend years waiting for their dog to give them more closeness, more calm, more connection. But connection isn't something you wait for. It's something you build, one moment at a time, with patience and presence, and the willingness to finally speak the language your dog has been fluent in since the day they were born. Your dog is not asking for perfection. They're asking for you, the real you, the one who sits on the floor and waits and talks and slows down. They've been asking their whole life. If this changed how you see your dog today, share it with someone who loves their dog and doesn't know any of this yet. And subscribe to Canine Mind, because every week we go deeper into the world your dog lives in so you can finally meet them there.